The true dog days of summer are officially upon us, and everyone is dying for some hockey content. And what's the best way to do that in August? Well, by diving into some trade rumors, of course. We are going to break down an article that lists the next 3 Flames that could find their way out of the organization sooner rather than later. But before we get into all of that, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and I just want to say a quick thank you to that family, the aforementioned Flames Digest family. I love you guys so much. Always appreciate the support. Love the community that we have built here on YouTube. Now let's dive into the real hockey content here and talk about how a player whose value will never be higher is officially kind of on the trade block now, according to this article here. And just quickly before we get into that specific player, we will always, of course, do the quick little intro from this article. So this one comes from Michael DeRosa, and he wrote today 3 Calgary Flames players who could be traded. Next, the Calgary Flames have traded away several notable players since last season. Let me get the list out. You all know who they are, but we could go over and talk about them again if you'd really like. But with the rebuild still not finished, who could be next? And let's face it, the Flames, they do have some veterans. Some of them obviously have more value than others. Some of them are more tradable than others. Jonathan Huberdeau, who I'm talking about there. Some of them, Flames fans definitely do not want to trade away, like a MacKenzie Weegar. They want to see him around. I know a lot of people want to see Kadri here for the long term, but we will just have to wait and see, of course. So let's dive into the first one here. The player whose value will honestly never be higher than it probably is now. It would take a wicked start to next season or just a full season for it to go higher. But that man, many of you have guessed from the thumbnail, is Blake Coleman. So while the Flames had an underwhelming season in 2023-24, Blake Coleman certainly did not. No, he did not. The Plano, Texas native, the Texas Tiger as many call him, was excellent for the Flames, recording new career highs with 30 goals, 24 assists, and 54 points in 78 games. Fantastic season from Mr. Pickles himself. A 30-goal season on that Flames team was great, especially on a line with Monge and Backlund for most of the year. He also maintained his gritty style of play with his increased offense, posting 128 hits on the year. Statistically, his best career season. And this is a man who has won the Stanley Cup before, been involved in big trades before. Well, at least in one big trade, the one to Tampa Bay originally. And either way, he can be involved in another big trade. If the Flames really did want to take advantage of his value being this high, they could trade him away. Trust me, I would love to keep Coleman around. He provides so much to some of our younger players. He provides so much in the defensive zone, and he obviously clearly can pitch in offensively as well. I know a lot of those goals were empty netters, and a lot of people will say that, but still, he provides so much. A family man, you always see his daughters around the game. I believe they just had another child as well. Congratulations to them. But either way, very, very interesting here. After a season like this, Coleman's value is naturally higher, and the Flames could decide to hear offers for the 2011 third-round pick at the very least. He is also on the wrong side of 30, which helps his case of being expendable for the right price. Keywords there, for the right price. Every team in the NHL would love to have a hard-nosed, skilled player like Coleman in their middle 6. Because of this, if the Flames ever put him on the block, he would be an incredibly hot commodity. And that just is true. I think a lot of teams would want to go for him. And one team who I personally think could very well go for him. I mean, you've seen the jersey swap in the thumbnail already. This is an older article saying that the Detroit Red Wings should go after Coleman. And I purposely look for this because I think Detroit could be a team that could really go after Coleman. But the Detroit Red Wings have limited cap room, so a move involving Coleman may have to wait until the offseason, which is obviously now. That said, GM Steve Yzerman has built his lineup with a mix of young talent and veterans, so Coleman seems exactly like the exact type of player he would want to add. And he's familiar with Coleman, obviously, so I think it is just a very, very good fit. He could provide so much to a Detroit Red Wings team that, sure, again, they do have some veterans, but mostly have a pretty good young core. Slide Coleman in, he could really help, and Detroit could offer something. They have some very good young players. They also have some good prospects, and they have a lot of their picks as well that could be expendable in a trade. I would honestly love to see a trade involving Detroit. That being said, I would also just love to keep Pickles. Love that guy so much. But there you go. Trade rumors involving Coleman confirmed. Let's get into the next man, who is a man whose value could get higher. It's already pretty high right now, but it could very well increase if this man has a strong start to next season. Once again, you've seen him in the thumbnail already if you looked at it, but it is Andrei Kuzmenko. The Flames acquired Andrei Kuzmenko as one of the pieces back from the Vancouver Canucks in last season's Lindholm trade. Before the move, Kuzmenko struggled with the Canucks and his role decreased because of it. As a result, he was primarily included in the trade to help it work financially. And it worked more than just financially, as he really did find his game in Calgary. The change of scenery benefited Kuzmenko greatly as he bounced back in a big way in Calgary. In 29 games with the Flames following the trade, he posted 14 goals and 25 points. With numbers like these, he certainly has gained some of his value back, and it would not be shocking if the Flames shopped him if they fall out of the playoff race next season, which in all likelihood could happen sooner than later. This is especially so when noting that he is entering the final year of his deal and will be an unrestricted free agent next July, if not extended. Yes, it makes sense for him to be traded, and it very well could happen. If it doesn't happen, this offseason, it could definitely happen at the trade deadline. That being said, just like Coleman, he could provide something to the Flames in the future. It'd be good to keep just a natural-born scorer around. He's a fan favorite. What a funny guy. It seems like he wants to be here. He's checking so many boxes for Flames fans and for the organization. So whether he gets traded or not, honestly, I think we'll be good with Flames fans. In the thumbnail, if you looked at it, I did a Tampa Bay jersey swap just because I could really see the Lightning going for him. They lost Stamkos. They'd like to get a natural scorer back, and it could make sense. Do they have the most to offer back? I'm not too sure. Another team to keep your eye on for Kuzmenko is actually the Chicago Blackhawks. They, could give Bedard a scorer, and oh my goodness, Kuzmenko could go back to like his rookie season, if not better. And I think Chicago, they have a lot to offer in terms of young players, prospects, and picks that they could offer the Flames. So look out for Chicago and Tampa in Kuzmenko rumors. Now, if we get into the last player here, it is the most likely to be traded, I think, of any Flame this upcoming season. And I know a lot of people wish that man was Huberdeau, wish it could be someone other than who I'm about to say, but it just does make sense. And that man is Dan Vladar, of course, our backup goalie for now. Dan Vladar is another Flame to pay attention to in trade talks this season. The 26-year-old is entering the final season of his contract and will be a UFA next July if not re-signed. Thus, he could be made available near this season's trade deadline. Vladar is coming off a down year with the Flames, recording an 8-9-2 record, a 3.62 goals against average, and an 882 save percentage, albeit he was injured and should hopefully now be healthy going into next season. While it's not the best year for the 2015 third-round pick, he has had past success in the NHL. For example, in 23 games with the Flames in 2021-22, he had a record of 13-6-2 and a 906 save percentage. Not bad at all. If he gets back to that form, he will be an appealing target for clubs needing an upgrade at the backup position. His record might take a hit this season. As we know, the Flames might not be fantastic. But either way, we'll have to wait and see what does happen. But I think so many contending teams who might not have the best backup goalie, especially if there are injuries. That's why I can't focus on one team in particular that could go for him. It'll totally depend on who is healthy and who is a contender. Next season, that could go after Vladar at the deadline, if not sooner. But there you go. Those could be the three Flames that could be traded next. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do. And this one has to do with yesterday's video about Oliver Kylington. Just a strange situation overall, and we can't honestly look into it too much. We don't know all the details. Rumors are rumors. Either way, he signed with Colorado. He's no longer here, but I think this is just an opinion that is shared among many Flames fans. As you can see here, a comment with 13 likes, and it comes from this user here. He said, "We may never know the full story, but this is how it stands now. The Flames and pretty much their entire fan base showed nothing but patience, as they should have, with Oliver Kylington, and have been repaid with his desertion. Not sure I can wish him the best, and his first visit as an Av will be an interesting one." Again, We don't know all the details. Like it said there, we don't know the full story. And it does make sense. Look, if he was going through a mental health crisis and Calgary was the place where that was occurring, it makes sense to have a change of scenery. We don't know everything, but I do think Flames fans are upset about this. As it said in the most recent video, Flames fans are fired up. This makes sense here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to like what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.